Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. I hope you all had fantastic Seders. This year I had the distinct pleasure of conducting two different Seders, and they were completely different. Each had marvelous guests, great food, of course, wonderful camaraderie and joy, and I think everybody really enjoyed themselves. We ate from the table of God. We had special food. Food that tells the story of freedom and points to a moment in time that is forever etched in the collective memory of man. But remember that every home is a temple. Every home is a tabernacle. Your home is your temple, where you keep your candle, your cup. It's your holy altar, and on every Sabbath or any other time. You place your candle, your bread, your wine there, and you say blessings, and you share your wine and you share your bread with whoever you were with. And these simple little covenant rites have survived well over 3,000 years. And by partaking in little rituals like that, we reenact the covenant that originated on the altar of God, where we now share a meal. And we use this opportunity to welcome others and to gather as a group. Everybody you know, to celebrate. You're coming together. It's about like minds. It's a showing of faith, of love, a community, a chavura, fellowship. When you express your nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes, that unites all of us as we do every week. And we do it in this community house of spirit, the Beth Ruach. So once again, let's now go ahead and gather everybody that we know, physically, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine B'Tov. Come together. Hine B'Tov. Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad. Hine B'Tov. Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community, 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 together. So as a community, let us all spread love, goodwill, fellowship to the world, my friends. We recognize, the prayers that are done both to give thanks and to engage our totality in a central experience as deep as our core being, so that we can have the full joy of unity. And all of the prayers that we do, whether it's at Sabbath or any time of the year, is about bringing senses to focus as we put our entire selves into what we do. It's part of our intention. And when we do that, we're blessing both God and ourselves. And when we do our normal rituals, we begin with candle lighting, and that invokes our vision, our sense of vision, because the flame reminds us that within each and every one of us lives the divine fire that can illuminate the darkest of places. We then raise our cup, thankful for the partnership we have with creation. And we take a drink, and we take the bread of the earth, the bread of life, and in tasting, we share the grain of truth. And we do these every week. In fact, we do them every day, but we do them every week. And these three things are keys to life. Light gives us strength and shines a light on the fears that we carry. We see fear in the light. It's not so daunting. Water, juice, wine, whatever you choose to drink, and bread. Well, they're the sustenance that keeps us alive. We receive our blessings and the gifts of creation, of life, from God or whoever we choose to believe in. And so these little blessings is our turn to bless God and to thank God. And it allows us to exercise gratitude, an incredibly important thing to exercise. And in setting aside a few minutes of sacred time in your sacred space, it is your chance to honor God. And quite often then, especially at certain holidays, we say a prayer of honoring God. Mi hamocha be'elim Adonai, mi hamocha neyadar b'kodesh. Dora tahilot osei fela. Dora tahilot osei fela. Who is like you, O God among the gods worshipped? Who is like you, God of gods revered? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, fearsome with splendors, working wonders? And as we generate a spiritual connection that unites each of us together as a whole, because it's all about our spiritual connection. Whether it's just us alone or us in a group or us just in the universal group of life. But we love to, unite. And when we do, we send healing and renewal energy out to the world. So let's send some special prayers once again now for Joseph, for Bob, for Marlo, Joanne, for Deborah, for Veronica and Aubrey, for the Cardinal, for Ben, Lindsay, the Bee, who always tries so hard. And for everybody in need of renewal, and we're all in need of renewal. So let's send love and renewal and healing to them. And make sure you do include yourself, because, friends, it's not selfish to want yourself to feel renewal too. It is the kindness, healing wishes, goodwill, and love that we all send out that circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each and every one of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit never dies. Avotenu Makor HaBracha Libotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Yishaberach, let us all have our spirits renewed the world over, my friends, because we all need renewal. Now, you're dedicating sacred time in your sacred space whenever you get together and do this, even if it's only for a few minutes. And that's all you need. Now, if you take a full day, that's great. But if not, these few little invocations can be part of your intention, your kavana, your Sabbath service. Okay, now, this was an unusual period that we just had. With Passover beginning on a Friday, we did not read the next Torah parsha last week, and we do not again this week, because we're in what's known as the Chol HaMoed, the intermediate days of the holiday. Now, there's two holidays that have intermediate days, this one and Sukkot. Now, these are the times to think about what that holiday represents. Now, in this case, it's your chance to be free of the fear, the Pharaoh that holds you in Egypt, in Mitzrayim, in constraint. And we all have that. Now, you've just celebrated the most important holy day in the Bible, the day to celebrate freedom. But it's not a physical thing. See, you're physically free. It's your mental freedom, your freedom to choose. And that, my friends, impacts you emotionally, socially, physically, in all ways. So choose and embrace freedom. But really, not just from reading a story, think about what it means and act upon it. Now, we're also now getting ready to count the Omer. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's a measure of a type of grain. Okay, that's really all it is. Its countdown, though, celebrates the great epiphany, the revelation to 600,000 people, celebration of the great rules of life. And one time those rules, the 10 Commandments, were recited daily, along with the Testament to monotheism, the cornerstone prayer of Judaism, the Shema. And if you go back to it, just take a quick read of them and remind yourself every day, 10 little sentences, read those 10 sentences every day. You will be freer than you can imagine, and you will alter the trajectory of your life. Now, when God created the world, he created all the people at the same time, to be the same, to be one, to be different parts of a greater whole. He didn't create country A, B, C, D in that order. He just created man. So we were all the same. We were all unified. And as it was in the beginning, so we hope it will be in the end. It just seems to be taking us quite a while to get there. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. As it was in the beginning, one love, so shall it be in the end. One heart. All right, give thanks and praise the Lord, and I will feel all right. Let's get together and feel all right. Now, Now, we do praise God, and we do have faith, and we have hope in faith. But moreover, there is a faith component to everybody's life. Now, that even includes atheists' lives, because even atheists can believe good and evil really exist, and that life may have a purpose beyond one he or she has made up, or that free will exists, or for that matter, that science alone may not fully explain how the universe came about, or how life arose from non-life, or how intelligence arose from non-intelligence. They strive for reason in favor of faith, but they do not rule it out. Read the great, atheistic writers of the 17th century. And freedom is the freedom to believe what you choose, my friends. Now, this is a special time and a special holiday. It's the holiday of freedom. But, as I said, the last day of Passover is also one of the times of the year to do Yizkor, which is the public mourning service. And the word Yizkor means to remember. And it refers to special person on behalf of family members and others who have passed. It's an opportunity for living relatives to have an elevating spiritual impact on the soul of a departed loved one. Now, for the person saying Yizkor, it could be a very important reflective moment. It originally was said only once a year, and that was at Yom Kippur, but now it's said 4 times. Yom Kippur and the 3 gathering festivals of Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. There's 4 times. Now, Yizkor can be recited on behalf of any relatives, though people are most often saying it on behalf of those for whom Kaddish is said, and that would be parents, children, siblings, spouse. Although the Yizkor service is brief, you will often see all the congregants, other than those who will be saying Yizkor, leave the synagogue while it's said. It's not a requirement, and you could still participate, even if just to honor those you want to say a remembrance for. And we all have somebody we can remember. Now, it's not necessary to be done in a synagogue as part of a service. Anyone can at any time say Yizkor privately at home. The honoring and remembering of anyone sends energy out to the universe and is actually something we often do. And it's all part of this remembrance. We remember them. At the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. The blueness of the skies and the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember them. The beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they're now a part of us as we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost, sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are a part of us as we remember them. Now, friends, there's 2 parts to the traditional Yizkor. There's a brief prayer for the departed, and there is a commitment of some kind to give charity or tzedakah on behalf of the deceased person's soul. And that can be a monetary donation, or one can also commit to donate time to a charitable cause, like a food bank or something. Now, you may also notice it's very common for people who do not regularly attend synagogue to do so in order to participate in one of the 4 Yizkor services. And I've been asked if this is hypocritical, since these same people do not appear to come out at other times. Well, first and foremost, people should mind their own business and not monitor how often someone else comes to pray. We are each different. We each observe in our own ways, and we have the freedom to observe in our own ways. And a non-communal, quiet, personal way is just as good as any other way. So I tell those who ask, there's nothing hypocritical about it. In fact, the effort to say Yizkor, the intention, the kavanah, is a beautiful statement of respect for a departed. For people who are not familiar with the prayer service and who may not read Hebrew, there's always people ready to help one learn how to do Yizkor, because it is a time to honor members of your family, of your community, those you knew and those you heard about, those whose paths you never crossed, and the martyrs and freedom fighters of history, to honor and elevate the spirits of them all. So Judaism does not spend a lot of time talking about the afterlife. Most people get most of their knowledge of it from movies. It's been an important part of the study of Judaism, but not disseminated very well. It's still primarily contained within the realm of rabbinic studies of the mystical parts of Judaism, and it had a very large following in the Middle Ages in particular. When we come into this world, my friends, composed of three parts: the body, the personality, and the soul, each with a different time frame of existence. Now, the essence of every human life is the soul. After death, the soul lives on. Yizkor is about life, death, eternity, about the core mission we all share to bring light, life, kindness, and goodness into this world, about the unequaled bond, the timeless connection between you and someone you loved and still do. We don't stop loving somebody when they die. Yizkor is far more than a ritual or prayer. It is a gift from your soul in this world to the soul of your loved one in the next world. Now, each of us is a blend of physical and spiritual, body and soul. The Hebrew word for soul is neshama, and it comes from the word meaning breath. When God created the first human being, he breathed the soul into the physical body. Now, this breath of God is the source and essence of the soul, and there's a circular relationship between us and God, as God's out-breath is our in-breath, and our out-breath is God's in-breath. Now, throughout our life, day in and day out, we are confronted with interests, urges, and inclinations that are entrenched in the body and the soul. Now, the body's interested in physical pleasures, while the soul is interested in deeper pleasures, like meaning, helping, making a difference, and ultimately, a spiritual connection to God. Now, Judaism does not relate to the body and the enjoyment of physical pleasures as inherently bad, as many other religions have a tendency to do. At the same time, Judaism does not view the soul and the realm of the spiritual as the exclusive domain in which to live life. The Torah teaches us that people are created in the image of God. And this means that just like God breathed spiritual life into an inanimate physical body, in a sense, we can do a similar thing. We do not run away from the body, we refine it. Now, whether it's good food, sexuality, sensuality, or just relaxing, Judaism views life as an ongoing challenge to elevate the body and infuse the physical with the spiritual. They must work together, my friends. Now, early rabbis saw the body like a horse and the soul as the rider. And like with anything else, the question for us becomes, who is leading who? And in what direction? See, friends, Judaism sees life as a shared body-soul experience. And the question is, which of the two is the most influential in shaping our lives? Will one's life be primarily defined by the body, while the soul is relegated to brief cameo appearances? Or will the soul be the star of the show, with the body playing a wonderful supporting role? Now, the soul that has been breathed into every one of us is a priceless gem that becomes even more refined and sparkling when we choose to live in a soul-directed life. Now, if, on the other hand, one lives more of a body-centered life, the soul atrophies, so to speak, and it loses much of its shine. But it comes back in the next incarnation. And we all know people who can fit into one or the other of those categories. Exercise them both, my friends. That is true health and freedom. You've just entered the period where you're working on freeing yourself. Free the soul at the same time. Now, the body is a vessel which decays and dies. The soul lives on. When the soul departs the body, it enters a spiritual world known as Olam Haba, the world to come, where the deep pleasures of pure spirituality is infinitely more manifest than it is in the physical world. As the soul transitions into the spiritual world, it does so with both its beautiful, well-developed features and the unsightly, atrophied features it acquired in the physical world. In the world to come, the soul steps in front of that mirror of self, where it has a deep realization of everything good and meaningful it achieved in the physical world, and the result is a profound experience of closeness to God. Physical and spiritual, good and evil, deep and superficial, productive and destructive actions that have their place in this world. Always. In our lives, we can always grow, change, improve, and live a more soul-focused life. That's what Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are all about in particular. Now, after death, the time for achieving has passed. What's done is done. Nonetheless, there remains a powerful way that the soul can gain new levels of elevation after death. The living have the ability to enhance the condition of a departed soul in the afterlife, and that is where Yizkor comes in. The idea of remembrance is founded on two fundamental Jewish beliefs: that the prayers and actions of people in this world can have an elevating spiritual effect on the souls of the departed, and that a primary mission in every person's life is to make the world a kinder, better, more beautiful place. Now, this pursuit of goodness and kindness is known as Olam Chesed Yibaneh, to build a world of kindness. Now, the brief Yizkor service is a beautiful expression of those ideas. When you make an effort to help someone else and do so in honor of a departing relative, then that person becomes the motivating cause behind that act of kindness. Now, the result is threefold. You become a better, more giving person. The departed soul of your relative is elevated, and the recipient benefits from your kindness and generosity. Now, what a win! So, friends, please join me now as we do a brief remembrance for all those whom we cared about. And I will pause so that you can utter the names of those you wish to remember and think about everybody you may want to remember. May God remember the soul of who has gone to his or her world because, without making a vow, I will give to charity on his or her behalf. As a reward for this, and in their merit, may his or her soul be bound in the bond of life, together with the souls of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and together with the other righteous men and women in the Garden of Eden, and let us say, Amen. Continue to think about people you want to think about, my friends, and remember them all. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week of love and light, a week of peace. Work to manifest your new year, your new life, with all your newfound freedom, the freedom to be you. Honor and remember the people in your life, and honor the journey you are on. Honor yourself, and friends, keep your eyes open to what you may not be seeing, and keep your ears open. Listen to the world around you, because you're missing an awful lot. Remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our kavanah, our cause and our effect, everything is linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what is good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged, and ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those who have hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and to be compassionate. And do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It's always in sight. There it is, right there. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always there in front of you. And remember to have faith and unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principles of love and of all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind, my friends. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year. And may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. And work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet the mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and the ability to be present, to be mindful in all of life's circumstances. Work on your intentions, your kavanah. Continue to believe in the promise and the premise of decency, of goodness, of humanity. Turn your dreams into your beliefs and your beliefs into reality. Put intent into the new beginnings of the spring of your life. Focus on being free and on freeing your soul. Give love, my friends. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. And always be there for someone, because someone is always going to be there for you whether you know it or not. And remember everybody in your life who has had an impact. And there's more people than you can think of who've had an impact. I'll remember you when I forgot all the rest. You to me were true. You to me were the best. When there is no more, you cut to the core quicker than anyone I knew. When I'm all alone in the great unknown, I'll remember you. Be happy, be healthy, be helpful, be kind, and be loving. Imprint your will on the blank canvas of life. And join us next week, my friends, for the installation of the priesthood. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.